In this study, we examined the impact of agent familiarity and knowledgeability on several variables spanning agent perceptions, social and emotional experiences, and conversation dynamics. We developed two conversational virtual agents and examined how familiarity and knowledge impact user interactions in a virtual environment. We conducted a within-group study with 32 participants using a 2x2 design to evaluate the effects of agent familiarity and knowledge levels. The agents were either familiar or unfamiliar, with high or low knowledgeability. In the familiar agent conditions, participants interacted with a digital replica of a professor from their department. In this digital replica, the virtual agent looked like and sounded like the professor from our department. In the unfamiliar conditions, participants engaged with a generic virtual character that resembled a middle-aged American male. Let's begin with how we designed the professor's virtual agent, moving from left to right on the flowchart. First, we collected a facial photo of the professor, which was used to generate the initial 3D model in Character Creator 4 software with the Headshot 2 plugin. Then, an experienced 3D modeler refined the model to improve its accuracy. Next, to generate the professor's speech, we used audio recordings of his voice for voice cloning, which would later be used during real-time interactions in the experiment. The professor's personal information was used as prompts in ChatGPT-4 to generate conversational responses on the fly. These responses were then converted into speech using text-to-speech technology. We also conducted a sanity check with his teaching assistants, following an iterative process of adjustments to ensure the digital replica closely resembled the professor. Once the 3D model and speech were finalized, the professor's digital replica was imported into the VR application, where it interacted with participants, replicating both appearance and conversational behavior. For the unfamiliar agent, we started by generating several headshots using Midjourney, each representing a generic middle-aged American male. We selected one of the images to create the 3D model of the agent using Character Creator 4 software with the Headshot 2 plugin. To give the unfamiliar agent a voice, we selected one from a voice library that matched the intended demographic. This voice would later be used during real-time interactions to generate conversational responses through ChatGPT-4, followed by text-to-speech conversion, just as with the familiar agent, ensuring the speech was clear and consistent. Our sanity check confirmed the unfamiliar agent did not resemble the familiar professor's virtual agent, ensuring its suitability for this study. Finally, after completing the model and voice setup, the unfamiliar agent was imported into the VR application, ready for participants to interact with during the experiment. In the experiment, the order of the conditions was predetermined using a Latin square balancing method. We also recorded the conversations between the participants and the agents for further analysis. After each condition, participants were asked to complete a survey we developed to capture their perceptions and experiences. Here, we present a brief recording of the interactions with the virtual agents in the familiar agent with high knowledgeability condition.
Could you provide some advice on which game development course I should consider taking next semester?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to help guide your course selection. Considering your interests and the skills you'd like to develop, do you have a particular aspect of game development you're most passionate about? Whether it's focusing more on the technical side, such as programming and game mechanics, or the creative aspects like story development and audio, knowing what excites you most will help us tailor the right path. What courses have you taken so far, and what have been your favorites?
How can I improve my skills in Unity for more advanced game development projects?
Great question. To enhance your skills in Unity for more advanced projects, I recommend a combination of hands-on practice and resource utilization. First, if you haven't already, consider taking our Advanced Game Development Techniques course, where we dive deeper into Unity's more complex capabilities, including scripting, AI programming, and shader development. Beyond coursework, engaging with online tutorials, forums like Stack Overflow, and Unity's own extensive documentation can be incredibly beneficial. Participating in game jams or collaborating on projects with peers can also give you practical experience that's invaluable. Are there specific areas within Unity or types of projects you're particularly interested in exploring further? This could help tailor the advice and resources I recommend.
As we approach the conclusion of our presentation, we reflect on the main findings of our study. First, in terms of agent perceptions, our results showed that the virtual agent's familiarity had a significant effect on perceived knowledge, with an interaction between familiarity and knowledgeability. We also found that agent knowledgeability influenced how familiar the agent seemed to participants. Agents that were both familiar and knowledgeable were seen as more trustworthy. Familiar agents contributed to higher perceived anthropomorphism, appearing more human-like to participants. Lastly, the combination of familiarity and knowledgeability also increased how likable participants found the virtual agents. As for social and emotional experiences, there was no significant effect on co-presence. However, higher familiarity improved rapport with the virtual agent. Familiarity and knowledgeability also enhanced participants' expectations of the system's usefulness, convenience, and comfort, while increasing their willingness to engage with the agent in future interactions. Finally, when examining conversational dynamics, we found that participants focused more on domain knowledge topics when interacting with knowledgeable agents, switching to more personal or agent-related topics when responses were unsatisfactory. They also tended to offer more detailed and descriptive responses when interacting with familiar and knowledgeable agents, suggesting greater intellectual engagement and richer exchanges. Lastly, participants had quicker response times with familiar and knowledgeable agents, likely due to reduced cognitive load and the expectation of being better understood. Please refer to the paper for more details. Thank you for watching this video.